how to amplify your voice and calibrate your message. Welcome to the Soulful and Social Summit, where we uncover the keys to success both on the goal line and the soul line. I'm Katja Rosanen, your host, and committed helping spiritual entrepreneurs share their stories, shine their light, and succeed on purpose. And joining us today is voice, video, and visibility expert Michelle Kopper, who believes that you are your most powerful marketing asset. So welcome, Michelle. I'm super excited to have you here today.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me. I always love our conversations.
Absolutely, I do too, because amazing things come. So stay tuned here. And before we dive deeper into your topic, Michelle, could you share with us how has social media played a role in shaping your remarkable success?
Oh, that's a great question. Little bit of backstory. Social media is the main platform that I use to develop relationships and connect with my audience. Aside from email, I'm a big proponent of video. And about 10 years ago, I had grown businesses or had more struggling businesses. And I hadn't really done the marketing thing. And social media was something I was kind of not my thing, right? And in deciding to play bigger, in deciding to really being kind of sometimes my higher power drags me kicking and screaming forward into my next level of greatness. So I had yet another epiphany and was really realized that by being kind of anti-social media, I was hiding. I was playing small and I was honestly really scared. It felt very vulnerable and I had judgment. I didn't want to be one of those people like showing my, food on. So I had judgment, right? I didn't want to, right. Believe that, I don't know. It was so vulnerable for me. So I resisted it. And then the epiphany of realizing that it was holding me back and I was playing small and, I've been an expansion junkie for over 30 years, right? So I was like, oh, okay. And then I had to find a way, a topic of your summit, to be soulful and social. I had to find a way to share authentically in a way that felt true and good and aligned and not salesy, and to be to have a presence on social media, because I realized, first of all, there's millions and billions of people out there that might really benefit from my message, the way that I bring it. And so I became willing and quickly dove in to social media. I made some mistakes right at the beginning. We can talk about those if you want to, but have over the last almost 10 years now, social media, soulful is in my mouth now because I was saying that social media has been a free, fast, immediate way for me to share my message and potentially serve and uplift other people. And I had to develop some skill and some systems and frameworks to have that presence online actually lead to clients signing up. So social media is a primary driver for leads and influence in my business. How's that?
That is amazing. And now we surely want to know more. Before we dive deeper, let me properly introduce you. So Michelle Kopper is the CEO and founder of the Inspired Voice Business Coaching and creator of the Frequency Factor, the Dare to Soar Beyond Six Figures experience, the Visibility Success Accelerator, the Fearless Go Live formula, and make videos that sell. Michelle's approach to visibility, messaging, and business growth from inside out helps you claim your voice, clarify your message, and call in clients through customized, streamlined strategy with your one-of-a-kind message that inspires and moves your audience to see you, hear you, and hire you. And today, she will be sharing about your frequency factor, amplify your voice, calibrate your message, and call in your 6 to 7 figure revenue and impact by being more you. How awesome is that?
Yay!
Yay!
My
So,
favorite topic.
it is an amazing topic. So let me first ask this. What's working right now to be highly visible in a ways that turns those followers and fans into ideal clients?
It's a great question. I know so many, especially coaches, healers, committed, dedicated, purpose-led, or spirit-guided entrepreneurs jump in and they're like, I'm going to do it. And then they just kind of do everything, right? I call it scattershot visibility. And one thing that works all the time is to narrow your focus and pick, I always recommend 2 or 3 primary visibility platforms. I believe one of them needs to be email, you own your list, and I believe one of them needs to be your favorite social media platform, and that you need to include video. So I will say that I do believe live streaming is the most effective tool we have on social media to create influence and to attract and enroll clients. I can talk about why if you want to.
Yes, good. Well, go for it.
Excellent. So live streaming in this day and age of so much technology is available to us. Anybody can make a video. And we have AI entering the marketplace, and it's all up for grabs. So content itself is everywhere, and it's only coming more. We've been taught that we have to create content, and Facebook gives us the digital creator name, and just creating content can be draining. It can be overwhelming. It can also help you think you're doing everything, but it can still not be leading to clients signing up. And with live streaming, you have the opportunity to have spontaneous immediacy, higher level of know, like, and trust right out of the gate because it's unfiltered, it's unedited. And on video, you have your voice, the sensation and vibration of your voice contains all of your karmic and practical and everything that you've ever called forward or evolved into is carried in the resonance of your voice and your face. The human beings are trained through instinct in the womb to resonate and hear the voice and to look for the face. So because your live streams are your voice and your face, spontaneous, unfiltered, unedited, you have an opportunity to show up. And it doesn't have to be perfect, right? It's you, unfiltered. And that is the thing that no AI or no nothing can replace. And that is why I talk about your frequency factor, really tuning in deeply to your unique secret sauce. We have a specific approach we use to help people do that. That starts with your voice, your message. What do you want to say? So I believe live streaming is the most powerful tool we have for expanding our reach and our influence and our impact and our income. You have to know how to use it in order to have it do all those things. And there's a huge internal silver lining. And that is that when you cultivate the clarity, the confidence to drop into your message, trust its value, trust yourself, trust your offer, trust your business, and share live. We use a simple framework to help people know how to do that. But when you do that again and again and again, it transforms you. I call it learning the choreography of your message, right? We don't do a dance steps without walking through them and putting them in our body. So live streaming is a superpower tool for your own transformation. And because video captures that energetic, kinetic energy of you maybe being a little past the edges of your comfort zone, it actually elevates the ability for you to reach your audience and the way they feel you. And people work with you because of, Maya Angelou taught us, people remember the way you make them feel, not the words you say. So I'm a fan of the live streams.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense, that connection that builds. And sometimes I totally fall into that being perfect, wanting to appear perfect. And then if you just show up and allow yourself to be you, it's actually people connect and relate maybe even more than when
Yes.
everything is just perfect. So I have
And
needed to give
as
myself the permission.
so good, so good. And as we grow in our business and we are the multi six figure heading to seven or seven and beyond, the stakes go up. Our level of what we think we need to be good at and how we present can feel like, oh no, it's almost like you feel like you have further to fall. It's not true, but it's a real thing that we experience, right? So, I mean, you can imagine some of when you get to see somebody who's like already arrived in this mythical place and you get to see their blooper reel, or they just drop in and talk to you for a minute, it's very impactful. And in today's age of high technology, lots of AI, what's real, what isn't, fake news, whatever we're talking about, I don't watch that, but you live is super powerful.
Mm. And now I'm sure everyone here has heard the message like, be more visible. You need to be more visible. Go out there, be more visible.
Yeah.
So when we are aiming to put that advice into action, what
Yeah.
are some common mistakes spiritual entrepreneurs make when
Yeah.
it comes to this being more visible, and what can we do to avoid them? So,
Cool. So visibility doesn't get clients.
mm,
Visibility alone is not enough to actually have people give you their credit card number, right? So one of the two big common mistakes come up right away. We've touched on one, this idea of like, okay, I need to be visible, so I'm going to be visible everywhere. And it's more than a full-time job for a
yeah.
full-time team, right? To be visible everywhere. And when we're visible everywhere, it actually dilutes our message and our impact. The other thing that people do is they get visible everywhere and they talk about something different everywhere instead of
Mm,
creating their message, so that their message, which actually needs to be said again and again and again and again, uh, their message gets diluted because they're saying something different, or just whatever they can, that I gotta say, I gotta create content, right? And they don't have a cohesive strategy for how does their message, what are their core promises that allow them that they can talk about in every different platform again and again in a million different ways, but it's that same thing. Be seen, be heard, be hired is one of mine. Claim your voice, clarify your message, and call in clients, right? So having that visibility be everywhere all at once, and then doing different messages everywhere all at
yeah.
once.
I
Dilute.
yeah, I totally jump into that because I get that. Like, I'm very creative. And
Me
then
too.
I was like, I'm just being creative, talking different things.
Yeah.
But because I felt like I can't repeat, but it
Yeah.
actually the repetition allows people, because they are not watching everything you do.
Yeah.
You are, you know everything you
Yes.
put out there. But most of the people, they see something. So just staying aligned with your core message is
Yes.
super important. So thanks
And
for
there's
bringing that
a
up.
lot of vulnerability around that. Like, what is my core message? Do I have my core message right? Am I talking to the right people? Uh, so having, support. And then another mistake people make with visibility is waiting until they're ready, or hyper integrity, hyper focus on perfection message, and not putting it out there at all,
Mm,
right? Feeling like that. Was just talking with a client who was explaining this. I have this list of things to do, and when I go there to just about do it, I freeze. I have a completely irrational reaction. And so you and I know, and I'm sure many of your audience know, that there's energetics and all sorts of things that come into play that need to be healed around being visible. So
mm,
a lot of the people I've worked with that are called spirit guided, purpose-led coaches, healers, we have this unique relationship to being visible and to crafting our message. And we've usually had some huge transformation of our own, or millions of them, right? And so we get finding the words that our audience can hear, that are not like all of our ooey gooey, rich and chewy transformation words that we've been through, the process that we know, the what needs to happen. Finding those words to meet your audience where they are is, I think, an endless journey for the spirit-guided entrepreneur. And it's the thing that we help people with the most. It's the thing I invest tens of thousands of dollars to have help with for myself, because we're so close to it. And we need support to remember again and again, how do we meet our clients where they are and use their language, right? The client language. And then from there, you need to have people signing up.
Yeah.
So that's the other mistake that we make, is we think, I'm being visible, I'm sharing my message, everybody loves my content. I had, my first 6 months to 9 months, I was like, okay, I'm going to be visible. People were like, wow, you're really everywhere. You must be doing great. And I was like, I'm doing great because I was building skill. I was being brave. I was finding my words out in the marketplace in real time, but I wasn't making any money. And so learning how to, and usually the mistake that people make is that they get visible, but then they don't directly invite people to work with them. And when we're first getting started, sometimes we think our digital assets need to do the work of inviting people to work with us. So we want to send them to a button and have them click it and buy.
Yes.
And honing in on the message and getting those digital assets to work is not a small feat, despite what all the brilliant digital marketers tell us, especially for those of us in the transformation space. So, another way to say it is we avoid a sales conversation, or we simply don't know how to let an offer or an invitation be the next natural step in an awesome transformational conversation. So that's another way that we always work with. We have a couple of workshops, and we start all of our implementation programs with, how do you develop that process in your words in a way that feels good to you, that's highly aligned, and then get good at it. So making offers and actually talking to people and leading them to signing up is what I mean when I say visibility isn't enough. Right? You need to be visible so people see you. Then they need to hear you. You need to be heard, which means you need to find the language of your client and learn how to tune into that. And I say most of us need support with that forever. Sounding boards, fresh ears, right? Yeah. Fresh eyes. And then have a system, develop your own, honestly, spirit-led, myself included, entrepreneurs, sales process, so that people are signing up.
And that brings me a question, like, in your opinion, why does that feel so vulnerable and sometimes even really scary to be visible and then also take that next step? Because as you said, visibility itself, it doesn't bring you the income. So you need to also take the next step. So what is it? What's there? Why do we shy away from that?
Many things. I think that it ties into our own trusting our own value, trusting our own ability to help people get results. And that can be tied to lots of things. In the spiritual space, there's been a long, thousands of years entrenched messaging that money is evil, right? That prosperity is this other thing, clean, perfect thing over here, but that it's not commerce. And, vows of poverty, we feel like we should just help because we can. And so those are some of the big ones.
Yeah.
And we can, so some solutions to that, we have something that we call the inspired selling inventory, where you can look at where are your beliefs stopping you from owning the truth of who you are. And here's the thing. every human is priceless and valuable beyond measure simply because they exist, including everyone who's listening to this, and you and me. And so learning how to own and embrace your value is part of developing your sales process.
Mm.
And the other thing I was going to say about why is it so, and sometimes it's like we just don't know what to say. We just don't know. We don't realize that we're not making offers or invitations, or we don't realize how we could, so that it's just the next natural step in a conversation. And sometimes we just, we really don't realize we're not doing it. We think, I'm out there, why aren't people signing up? So it's a learning curve a little bit, and owning the truth of who you are, and then developing skill at how you get visible and position people to want what you have. And then a mechanism, conversation, a Facebook group. There's lots of ways we can do that for people to come into your world and say, that's interesting, I'm here. And for you to be able to say, hey, this is how we help people. Are you interested?
Beautiful. And another thing you mentioned briefly there is and I hear a lot, it's the overwhelm and the time. Like people are like, yeah, I don't want to be on social because that takes all my time, like
Right.
when I go there. And there are all these platforms coming along. And so what's there really? How can we amplify our visibility without spending more time on social media or being there all the time?
Such a great question. That's such a great question. We've touched on a couple of things. First of all, we touched on finding your power platforms, really picking that one place. We've touched on knowing your core promises and crafting all your content around those same core promises. The other thing is to have support, so that you're not sitting there stewing over every post, but you can develop it, get good at it. And then having a strategy for what you're creating leading to clients, which means when you have the core promises and you know where you're going, you got to know where you're going in order to get there, right? Then you can create one piece of content and repurpose it and use it again and again and again. This is one of the things we teach in our Fearless Go Live formula, where you do a live, or if going live is terrifying and that's not your thing, write a beautiful blog or an article or an email, and then take from that to repurpose the content. In short, that's a couple of practical tips for how we do that. Does that help?
That's super helpful because it just gives a little bit deeper insights into this. And you also talked about this, like not making offers is one of the things why we are not getting clients. So that sounds
right.
really logical, right? You need to make those offers.
And it's common, it's very easy to get visible and have a rhythm. One of the first courses I created was a way for me, as a system that I used to have consistent visibility and make sure that I was leading to a specific offer at least every 30 to 45 days, because that felt like a lot to me at the time, right? I had been visible for months, but no one was signing up. And I was like, oh, we need to actually tell them how they sign up and what they get when they do, And so having that, I like for people to think of rhythm and playing to their strengths. So those power platforms are the things that are the easiest for you and that light you up, keeping your focus narrow to only 3, developing the messaging confidence, right? So that you can take these core promises that are dialed in the language of your client, and craft messaging that's going to have people see you, hear you, which means get what you do for them, and then hire you, is a process that happens through implementation. And then making sure, like, when was the last time I made a direct offer? When was the last time? And not a direct offer only to a free thing.
Yeah.
Right? here's my free webinar, here's my free challenge, here's my free checklist, here's a giveaway I'm in, value, value, value. Here's where most people fall off and need more support, and here's how I help, right? Adding that into the messaging.
That is so powerful. Another like light bulb moment there must be for many. And it's again like the gift that you are bringing here into this, like seeing this, and you have worked with so many people. So let me know what's the secret to also light up our marketing and visibility, because we are spiritual entrepreneurs. We want to be soulful and social. We want to shine our light. So what is the best way for us to be those lighthouses in the storm and shine our light and attract those clients?
So we've touched on what I call for in my world is the frequency factor. That is your unique energetic presence. And that is made up of all the things you've been through, all the processes and healing and trainings you've had, all the things you've tried, all the clients you've served, and comes out through your voice and your face. And so a lot of times we want to get it right. We want to create the content that's right. We want to show up on video in a way that's right. And we've even talked about some mistakes that people make. So now they're like, oh, I don't want to make those mistakes. I've got to get it right, you know? And so for the Soulful on social, one of the things that I've seen happen, and it did happen for me myself as well, is I was like, oh, I'm not really marketing. Now I have to figure out this whole marketing thing. And so I would go and I would try it the other person's way. I would follow the template, the blueprint, the guides, and I would do everything they said, but I was not getting results. So that was some inner work that I had to do in order to really clear my own beliefs, blocks, and fears, see the ways that I was hiding and holding back. And to do that, we need support, especially in the spirit or the woo space. We're hinky about marketing and selling. We wish we didn't have to. So you need to have what I call a champion. And we sometimes think we need a critic to tell us all the things we're doing wrong. And a champion actually says, I see where you're going. Hey, try this. So the short answer to how do we let our light shine, it lies in radical, messy, crazy, vulnerable self-trust, and being willing to be messy and vulnerable and raw, and being willing to serve on behalf of the people that are looking for you, that you're called to help, and letting that serving, which is easy for us to tap into as healers, also mean that your business is allowed to flourish. So for you to light up, you have to have your self-trust, you have to have your own permission. You might need a champion. You might need to have support around how do you say it, to understand how you can streamline that, or not streamline, but take a few steps into your client's shoes and find the words, or talk to them and ask them what they're thinking and what's keeping them up at night. And that's a place where, like I said, I have ongoing support. And I think those of us in the spirit space often need that, because sometimes our frequency is vibrating on a level that's way up here, and we want to learn how to be there, allow the fullness of who we are, and own and embody our great calling and our creativity and our own intuitive guidance, and market and grow a business. Right? So sometimes we try and do it the other person's way, or follow the formula, or I'm going to do YouTube, I'm going to do this sales conversation, and I'm going to do this. And we forget that it's us, and we have to find a way to weave in our unique perspective and voice, even if it's almost all on the inside. And when we start to try and learn how to talk so people get what we do, we forget that it has to start with, what are we called to share? That's the first step in my what to say system, is what do you want to say? And then getting good at how could you say that so that people see you, hear you, and hire you.
Wow, that is awesome. And now, as we are grounding this thing, like, let's bring it in the practical level. So can you give us now couple of practical things that we can do and take action to transform that vulnerability into confidence and start converting those viewers into clients? So what can we do?
Yes. So clarifying your core promises, as best as you can for the day. All right. And then creating content and implementing out in the real world to see how it works. You put up a post. Did anybody click? Did they like it? Nobody dies if they don't, right? And learning how to review and revise it. So that happens through implementation. So the other thing, if you feel really vulnerable, a couple of things, little hacks, 2-minute hacks, 1-minute hacks to shift that is to use your phone and make a quick video. And I call it the record and release method. So just practice talking, and hit the record button, make a quick video and delete it right away without ever listening to it, so that you can navigate that heightened deer in the headlights, throat clenched, body sweating, I can't think of any words experience. And if you want to practice going live, you can create your own little secret Facebook group where nobody's invited and practice in there. So those are some practical tips, to use your voice, use your face, and actually share a message. So practical tips: implement for clarity, have those core promises, ask your potential ideal clients what's keeping them up at night, talk to them, gather their words. The more sales and enrollment conversations you do, the more words you can gather. Have a sales process. If you don't have one, there's lots of templates. For me, I needed community, mentoring, role playing, an opportunity to voice that. And real vulnerable, practice the videos, hone in over time over those core promises, have the mentoring and support you need to do that, a safe place to practice. We need a safe place to land. And then I'll say, honor the vulnerability. It's not true, but it's real, right? You're not going to die. I was just talking to somebody who's like, I'm about to take the action and then I feel like I'm going to throw up or die. And I was like, well, get a bucket and have 911 on speed dial, take the action. She took the action and she was like, actually, it's not that bad. So that's where having support is pivotal. And then finding your own tools of permission to do these things. Internal permission, you're the only one stopping you. And so tools of permission for me are, if even one person will be served, will I show up and do this live or make this post today? It's none of my business what other people think. And then lastly, I'm going to say, instead of trying to get more clients, think about the business that you want to have. A lot of times in the spiritual space, we just want to help, we just want to serve, and we just want to have a life that we love. And your thriving business will uplift and serve more people than you will ever know through its message and marketing. And you're playing bigger into the CEO self that you want to be, or maybe don't even know is hiding inside of you, will lead to your expansion. And your expansion furthers the expansion of the whole wide world of creation itself. So we're not playing small here. And it's stepping into new levels and layers of the truth of who we are, divine spirit, that every second, moment, chance, opportunity you do that, you're uplifting the whole wide world. And your prosperous business is only a matter of allowing it to happen.
Beautiful. I love these practical action steps. So now go out there and do them. And before we wrap up, I know you mentioned this valuable gift that you are going to offer for our audience. So can you share a little bit more about the gift?
This is a video training that walks you through my 5-step what to say framework, which starts, as we've talked about, with what do you want to say, and goes through the other 5 steps that leads all the way to implementing it out in the world, giving voice to it out in the world. So that's what we're going to give your summit visitors from me to you all.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is so valuable. And as we start wrapping up here, is there a special message you'd like to leave our audience with?
Well, that last one was really got to the core of what I believe. Your business and your message and your voice matter. They are meant to be simply because you want them. And every courageous, committed action that you take to be seen, be heard, and be hired is furthering your own expansion and creating infinite possibility for the people who are guided to hear what it is you're sharing that day. And you're worthy beyond measure because you exist. And your vision, your dream, your business, your impact, your mission, your message are meant to be. They are already there. It's just about you allowing yourself to step into that.
Beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your time, Michelle.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, all these amazing, valuable insights that you shared today. I'm sure they will make a remarkable difference in people's lives if you're gonna implement them. So now
that's right. You know, if I can add one thing, you know, if someone, Katya's got amazing people here. Katya is amazing. You have a resource or a tool, or you're guided to someone, let yourself have that support. You know, we're not meant to do it alone. Trust yourself, trust your business, and having those champions is so powerful, because your transformation, your clarity, your confidence, your courage happen through implementation. We talk about let's get clients to get clear instead of trying to get clear to get clients. So Katya's reminded you several times, you must do these things. And if you are not doing these things, you need community, connection, support, encouragement, champion in order to do them. And you can trust that it'll all work out.
Beautiful. Thank you for that addition, because that was super powerful. Because yes, that's been one of my biggest learnings here as well. Like, we are not meant to do this journey alone. There is so much support available. You are not alone. So thank you for joining us today and in this Soulful and Social Summit session. And now it's your time to share, shine, and succeed. Until next time, bye for now.